ain't the only one who loves America. I like America just like you. Just because I've seen them dance after midnight. Just because I take a drink or two. That don't mean I don't like America. I like America just like you. Just because you don't see me on Sunday, sitting down on the front row pew. That don't mean I don't like America. I like America too, just like you.
Oh, are we loving America today? Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to What Are They Thinking? How you doing? We are the radio show that is dedicated to the website, unemployedstatesofamerica.com. And this is Mitch. And I got
this
Eric.
Is Eric. That's me.
And Eric's in Philly, and I'm in Madison. And we are, Madison, Wisconsin. There's only one Philly. Actually, there is a Philadelphia, Mississippi, but I don't know. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is much better than Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Yeah, well, there's only one Philly, and it isn't the one in Mississippi.
That is true enough.
Put it that way.
Anyway, today is the day we've all been waiting for a long, long time. Election Day, the midterm elections 2010, and the good news out of Wisconsin is, at least so far, is the weather has been absolutely spectacular here today. Not a cloud in the sky, no wind, 55 degrees. So the Democratic turnout so far has been outstanding. Really, 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 really good. And in some Democratic precincts, it's actually, believe it or not, ahead of where it was back in 2008 when Barack Obama won Wisconsin overwhelmingly. So how does it look out there in PA so far? Heard anything?
Pretty good. I mean, I myself have not been out to vote yet. I'm saving that for after the show because, unfortunately, I just moved recently and I never changed my voter registration. And it really sucks because my polls are right in my backyard, literally. They are literally voting at the corner of my block. So I could have walked there, but instead I got to drive after the show is over will only be 20 minutes. And if I would have done that any time during the 9 to 5 hours, it could have turned into a complete disaster because those highway funds from the recovery are here in southeastern Pennsylvania where our roads are terminally under construction. And I know exactly what Barack Obama means when he says there might not have been jobs gained, but there were certainly jobs that weren't lost. Because, like I said, southeastern Pennsylvania is constantly under construction in its roadways. And those people, as I can see about the Reinvestment Act signs everywhere, are making out with that TARP thing. They have not joined me on the unemployment rolls. But anyway, going anywhere around here between 9 and 5 is a pain in the neck, so I decided to wait. And before anybody out there wants to accuse me of voter fraud, I still vote in the same U.S. congressional districts. And if I were for the state stuff, my vote here would be wasted as a Democrat because the Democrat always wins. And where I'm actually going to vote, my Democratic vote will be wasted again because the Republican always wins at that end of the district. But my vote will be for the same House of Representatives gentlemen there. I just have to go and burn some gas, keep our boys busy in Iraq with that one. But I just got to burn some gas and some of my time to go out and cast my ballot. And I didn't want to miss the radio show and you good people out in internet radio land today by getting stuck in some kind of crazy traffic on the way back. So
true enough. So
but anyway,
Beth and I we're gonna vote too. I mean, as soon as the show's over, we're gonna run a few blocks away and go and vote. And we're hoping there's a big long line there because we live in a very very Democratic area, as you know.
As far as it goes, some of the stuff that I've been reading on the interwebs here about Pennsylvania turnout, in some pretty depressed areas of our state, like Allentown, which kind of much like once you get in that part of the state, you're starting to get pretty heavy Republican, but apparently the turnout in very Democratic precincts in Allentown has been very high since early this morning, which is a good thing. And I was reading some of the comments on the Huffington Post about there being a lot of turnout in the urban areas, and a lot of the people that commented on the post were from Pennsylvania cheering on Joe Sestak. So I think that's pretty encouraging. So he's within the margin of error, which he wasn't. And I don't know. We've talked about these races over and over again, and today is the day. So I guess we should really talk about that. But part of what has confused me about the current climate is that the guy that Joe Sestak is running against here used to be a congressman from Pennsylvania, and he was one of the people that authored those Wall Street reforms that helped cause the housing bubble and then its subsequent crash. And he also authored or at least voted for a lot of the legislation that created those tax loopholes that sent jobs to China. So I'm not exactly sure, seeing this guy directly had his hand in the cookie jar of screwing things up and was voted out in 2006, I guess it was. Maybe it was 2008. I can't remember which one he finally lost. But the guy had his hand in the cookie jar of screwing up our country, and I can't believe that he's pulling ahead of Joe Sestak in any way, shape, or form. I don't believe polls, I guess, or am in denial and wish not to believe the polls. But anyhow,
well, I guess we're going to find out. I mean, we're going to find out. I mean,
I've heard some. I heard some encouraging news from across the country too on Fox News. You know, I mean, you're going to get with the Huffington Post, you're going to get the positive liberal spin. But I heard something on Fox about an hour ago that the turnout in Kentucky, where Aquabuta Paul is running against Conway, and it said that the turnout there in Kentucky is going to be the hugest maybe that it's ever been for a midterm, and maybe any election in general, like the guy might have even been trying to say. But the odd part of it is, and the gentleman on Fox oddly didn't look happy about this, but the turnout in the cities in Kentucky is very high, and the turnout in the rural areas of Kentucky has been very disappointing at this point, which is a good sign for those of us that don't want Rand Paul having anything to do with being one of the 100 most powerful people in our government.
Well, the major city and the major bastion, the major bastion of Democratic voting in Kentucky is Louisville, and a lot of black votes there, a lot of Democratic votes there. Then obviously you've got some in Frankfort and Lexington, for sure. And Owensboro, I don't know about Owensboro. I kind of think of that as being a very, very, very Republican area, but you got Bowling Green. If Louisville, if the black vote in Louisville comes out for Jack Conway, Jack Conway stands a chance. And if those numbers are true, then you could potentially see an upset. But the numbers are up for Democrats, at least here in Wisconsin, and you're hearing some things I'm not hearing, which is good. So that's positive so far. So if you haven't voted, vote. Yeah. Vote.
Turns out that the turnout in Chicago is also pretty high at this point, which also bodes well, because for those of us on the unemployment rolls whose extension are going to die out at the end of the month here, Illinois is one of those states